Hi, I'm Saraaguilar, co-founder of LIV NRG, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to Martin Tobias, CEO of Upgrade Labs. From Martin, we're going to learn the top tricks, hacks and tools that would normally be preserved for the realm of elite athletes and biohackers. And we're going to show you how you can adopt a few hacks and changes in your life to optimize your physical performance, cognitive focus, and general health and energy. Martin is the perfect person to be talking about this because he is a serial tech entrepreneur in sustainable business, a venture capitalist, and serious about fitness and health to the nth degree. And he's going to show you how, as a busy entrepreneur, you should be focusing on your health and prioritizing your fitness to optimize your performance at work and your quality of life. So Martin, thank you so much for carving out the time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And what I wanted to know is, how did you shift from tech business into kind of the best of health tech? What drove you there? What's the story?
Well, I've always been interested in hard problems, and I've been a guy that gets bored easily. And I sold my last software company about 5 years ago, and I was basically retired. I was surfing at my house in Hawaii, hanging out with my kids, and screwing around, basically. But I was like, I should do some stuff that I've always wanted to do. And one of the things that was on my list was meditation. And I had that as an executive before, like, I should meditate. It was on my to-do list, and it kept getting like pushed off. And I was like, okay, now I have the time, I'm going to figure meditation out. So I downloaded like Headspace, which I love, and started doing some guided meditations. But as I was thinking about it, my mind's always looking for business problems or ways to do things better, faster, whatever. And I was like, this is great because I can meditate now with an app in my phone, but it hasn't actually changed the time-reward relationship for meditation. You still have to sit there and listen to somebody for half an hour, and so that's not really applying technology innovation to the meditation process. You've improved distribution and access by putting it on your phone, but you haven't actually changed the time-reward relationship. So I thought to myself, hey, has anybody hacked meditation? Because I love the benefits of meditation, but I read the studies and it can take years to really restructure your brain. I'm like, I want the benefits of meditation, want it in less time. Is there anybody who's hacked meditation? And the day I had that thought, I happened to be listening to Dave Asprey's podcast, and he was talking about 40 years of Zen, which is his neurofeedback thing, and using neurofeedback 8 hours a day. He's like, we'll give you 40 years of meditation in a week. And I was like, that's what I want. That sounds like a real hack, like the benefits in less time. So I call him up, and I'm like, I'm coming, I love this, I'm gonna try it. So I go there, and it was amazing. And I was like, okay, there are technologies that can change the time of work relationship. And it happened that Dave was there that time. And so I started talking to him, and he's like, oh yeah, we can do this for physical training and immune system training and all these other things. And I have a big house in Seattle. I had a home gym. I always had like an Olympic squat rack and cross trainer and all this stuff. And I thought I had a cool gym. And then he shows me his gym at his house, and I'm like, oh.
Like, gym envy.
Gym envy, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many, better technologies out there to train your brain, train your body. So I got kind of excited. That seemed like a hard problem. It wasn't necessarily a problem in my life. I was a pretty fit guy, and I felt pretty good about my health and fitness, but it just took too much time out of my life at the time, which was mostly surfing, but I still wanted to have a high level of fitness. So I started investigating it, and I actually was going to buy like $400,000 of stuff for my house, and I ordered like a cryo tank and a vascular machine and an ARX machine, all this stuff. And I called Dave up. I go, I'm going to upgrade my gym, have the best gym in Seattle. And he goes, great, Martin, you can do that, and you'll have a gym like me. But the problem is everybody's going to come to your house, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. Trust me, and I know this. So what you should really do is help me figure out how we make a retail version of this with all these technologies, so that everybody can use it, and all your friends can go there, and they won't be bothering you at your house. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a fun project. I could get excited about that. And he goes, oh, and by the way, the first one of these is going to be in Santa Monica, 2 blocks from the beach. And I said, Dave, next time start with Santa Monica, and I'm in. Whatever you say after that.
Right where we are.
Right where we are. Yeah. So that's how I got kind of sucked into it, is that I was piqued by the idea that technology could really change the time-reward relationship in mental and physical fitness. I tried some of the technologies, they worked for me, and Dave came up with this opportunity to create a retail thing. And so I really wasn't looking for a job, but I was already an investor with Dave in Bulletproof, who's a friend, and I said, sure, I'll help you try to figure out how to bring this to the mass market. And now we've got 2 locations in LA. We're building a 3rd in Dave's new office in Victoria. We're going to build a 4th here in LA, and it's going really well.
That's brilliant. Fantastic to have all of this just in one place.
Mm-hmm.
But with meditation in particular, what are the benefits that you see for you in your life and business?
I've also invested a lot in companies. I've invested in over 70 startups. And about 3 years ago, when I started this whole thing with Dave and understanding, the value of meditation, I actually added that a CEO that I invested in has to meditate to my investment thing. And the reason I did is because for me, in a startup or in any kind of business, the trick is not to be more bullheaded and to work, 12 hours a day. The trick is, do you have the resilience to handle the increasing levels of stress? And for me, meditation is the #1 tool to build resilience. It's not about how you can pile on more stress, it's about how do you recover. As we were talking about earlier, when you're doing exercise, weight training, when you're lifting weights, you're not building muscles when you're lifting weights, you're actually stressing the muscles and breaking down the muscles. You build muscles in the recovery phase after the workout. And the same thing is true for mental toughness and mental resilience. So it's really important to me to invest in people, or and for myself, to have a tool that builds that mental resilience. And for me, meditation has become that tool. And of course, at Upgrade Labs, we have technologies that will help you meditate more efficiently, like that big spinny thing over there. It's called our virtual float tank. And you're spinning around, you've got light and sound goggles, and in half an hour session, in a normal half an hour session like with Headspace, listening to a guided meditation, you might be into theta. We've done this with people in brain caps, and theta is the deep restorative part of meditation. In a normal half-hour meditation with guided, you might be in theta for 3 or 4 minutes, and you probably have experienced this. Sometimes with me, I never get into theta with a guided meditation because my brain's just too busy. But in that machine with the light and sound and all the other things, you'll be in theta for like 25 minutes. So in the same half an hour of meditation time, you'll get 6 or 8 times more productive theta state reset. And the key thing you're doing in meditation is you're getting your body out of sympathetic mode into parasympathetic, and you're getting your nervous system into recovery mode. Because most people go around all day in sympathetic, in fight or flight, stress, your phone's beeping, you got too many things to do. And the trick to handling all those things is to be having a reliable way to unplug, to reset your nervous system, so then you can go back and handle the stress. And that's what getting into theta during meditation does.
So meditation makes you more resilient in every area of your life, particularly if you're going to be stressed out with too much going on. You can have a new coping mechanism essentially to step and reset entirely. And on the note of recovery, I know that you're passionate also about tracking your sleep.
Yeah.
You can have an 8-hour sleep and feel awful at the end. Is it about quantity of sleep, quality of sleep? How do you know if you've slept well?
Well, the first thing that we talk to everybody about at Upgrade Labs is that you have to start tracking your sleep. I see you're wearing the Whoop, I wear the Aura ring. A lot of people come in and say, I'm stressed out, I don't sleep well, and I go, well, do you track your sleep? And most people don't. And so the first thing you have to do is start tracking it and seeing, what your sleep stages are and whatever. And then the second thing you have to do is start making different decisions that are going to affect that. What you want for really effective sleep is to have a lot of deep and REM sleep. Normally you would want to have 30% deep, 30% REM, and the rest sort of light or whatever. But there are technologies that can improve that. And as we were talking earlier, 2 days ago I slept 5.5 hours because I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go surfing. And but during that 5.5 hours, I was tracking my sleep, and I got 50%, more than 2.5 hours of deep sleep. So I woke up incredibly refreshed because I had super efficient sleep. And the key to good sleep is to get efficient sleep, not necessarily the hours in the bed, but it's the amount of deep and REM sleep that you get. And one of the things you'll start to find out when you start to track your sleep is how many things affect the quality of sleep. As we were talking earlier as well, things like alcohol. I found I have one drink and my deep and REM sleep goes to crap, and I'm light sleep, so I can still sleep to 8 hours, but I don't have efficient sleep. So I wake up in the morning a lot of times not very recovered, because the recovery happens in deep and REM sleep. And so, eating late at night, being on your phone late at night, having your Wi-Fi on, you can play around. Once you start tracking your sleep, you can play around with changing all those things and see what it does. The key to good sleep is to get a lot of deep and REM sleep. And it doesn't necessarily mean how many hours, it's the percent. And I know a lot of people that sleep 5 or 6 hours a night, but if you're 50% deep sleep and 25% REM, I mean, you're gonna wake up refreshed just fine.
Thank you for that. But so to optimize your energy, you need to prioritize recovery, which without sleep, we're just not going to feel good, and you won't be recovered. And the best ways of improving your sleep and getting high quality sleep would be a cool bedroom at night time, avoiding blue lights, so having using candles or red light glasses, and a chili pad. You've got one of those too.
Chili pad, yeah.
And making sure you're not overstimulated at night time, so working right before bed, keeping the mind on. And if you do that, then you should see a distinct improvement in your sleep overnight, but better to track it and know for sure. Are there any supplements that can help with your sleep?
Yeah, Bulletproof has a really good one called Sleep Mode, which has a combination of melatonin and a few other things. For me, I found supplements help a lot with how quickly you go to sleep. Some with a little bit of deep sleep, but it seems to me like keeping your bedroom cool and all the light out is better for deep sleep. So, I like melatonin and, or chamomile tea or something like that before bed. And the other key is to stop stimulants, sort of 5 or 6 hours, 3 or 4, at least 4 hours before you go to sleep. So caffeine and nicotine, something like that.
Yeah, I need at least 8 to 10 hours break from caffeine.
Break from caffeine.
So sensitive to coffee.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm actually, I had my DNA tested, some total nerd, but I found I'm a fast caffeine and nicotine metabolizer. So I can have caffeine, an hour before bed and still go to sleep. But
totally desensitized.
I'm desensitized.
Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit about nutrition as well. So, what foods do you eat to optimize your cognitive performance, energy, and do you follow the Bulletproof diet, or what elements have you taken from it?
I have followed the Bulletproof diet in the past, and unfortunately, I love tacos. I love Mexican. I know you guys had tacos for lunch. And tacos, bulletproof tacos, yeah, because they're gluten-free. They had a coconut shell, and you end up with a lot of carbs and sometimes bad fats because they fry the tortillas in that. So I stuck with my Mexican tacos for a lot until I got enough data, and I found out that my good fat to bad fat ratio was too much, and my carbs were a little too high. So like about 2 months ago, I actually switched to carnivore, and I've been doing carnivore for 2 months, and it's been crazy. So you just eat meat. Like, you're hungry, you eat meat, like bacon, whatever you want. And I lost 20 pounds in the last 2 months. Yeah, and I think it's all the inflammation going down. And you basically are not eating any processed sugars or carbs at all, so your gut biome resets. And I think I'm going to do carnivore for like another month or 2, and then go back a little bit more to like a keto type diet. I do like the bulletproof diet, but I'm not doing it right now just because I took all the carbs out. The cool thing about the bulletproof diet is that they take out a lot of the inflammatory things like tomatoes and nightshades and things like that. Yeah, but I found cognitively a big change because I'm testing the ketones every day too, and they're normally at about 1.0 millimoles. And when you're in ketosis, I find that I have a lot more energy and cognitive function, and I don't have the crash in the afternoon or whatever from carbs. So I definitely see a cognitive benefit to ketosis.
Yeah, on a high-fat diet, when you're in ketosis, the cognitive focus and energy is incredible because you can focus on a piece of work for a much longer period of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm normally keto. I have tried carnivore. Did you have trouble with electrolyte management?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, well, I don't think so. I mean, I was taking some extra mineralized water.
I have one in my bag actually.
I drank a little more Totem Sport. I mean, I didn't really notice any different when I wasn't drinking it, but I tried to every 2 days I had to drink some Totem Sport. Yeah. But I didn't notice any downsides to the carnivore at all.
For me, it was electrolytes. Getting extra salt, yeah, because I felt like I was going to collapse after 2 weeks of doing it, and then I had a ton of salt water. And
well, you can add salt to your
meat. I was
meat.
Doing that, but clearly it wasn't enough. I had to have way more, and then I was fine. Yeah, but I did notice that I lost like 3% body fat. Was preserving loads of muscle. Felt really good.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to have the green juice.
Well, I noticed also some of the negative things. So like I was back, I was with my kids about 3 weeks ago, and I was doing the carnivore, and they wanted to have a movie night, and they're like, let's have popcorn and ice cream and whatever, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And of course the popcorn and ice cream were there, so I had some, but like I was in pretty high, I was like 1.5 ketones or something like that, and then I ate a ton of carbs, and I crashed out of ketosis like really fast with the carbs, and the next day when I woke up, my mood went to shit. Like I was in a very bad mood. And my kids were like, Dad, don't eat popcorn anymore, stay in ketosis. So it was funny because I did notice that the impact of carbs, if you're in ketosis, if you eat them, can be much more significant than if you're not.
You become really sensitive to sugar, and you get what I call a sugar hangover that's worse than a normal hangover.
Yeah.
Because I did keto quite strict for a whole year, and then if I'd have sugar, it was just horrific the next day. But it's always when you're with family and they're encouraging you to
have something like that.
Yeah.
So some of the supplements, I've actually been experimenting with some keto or ketone supplements. So last week I did an experiment with the human ketone esters product, and so I took my blood ketone levels. It was 1.0. I drank the whole bottle, and they went up to 5.6.
Really?
Yeah, like in half an hour. And I took ketones every half an hour, and they degraded basically 0.5 millimoles every half an hour. So in about 5.5 hours, they had cycled through the system. But I was surprised how significantly they raised ketone levels in a short amount of time.
That's like
insane.
a week of fasting.
It's a week of fasting, like
literally.
Yeah, I mean it didn't last, and I've heard of some other products that might have ketones available for a longer period of time. But I think, I mean, their primary market is, performance athletes or whatever. And if you want to go ride your bike or do a heavy workout, you can get yourself into really high ketosis really fast and then do the workout.
Have you tried the Keto Sports one?
No.
They combine the ketone ester with C8 oil and carbon fiber and CBD. So it gives you a boost, but it also makes you very relaxed, and you can still go to bed afterwards and sleep well. So it's quite good for cognitive focus. But it didn't measure my ketones when I tried it. So I was just with friends trying to.
You should try it. I got a lot more cognitive focus and everything. I like that supplement. Yeah, and another one that I love. I love nicotine. A little bit of that.
And what would you use that for?
Just an additional amount of focus. I'm a fast nicotine metabolizer, so it only lasts about half an hour, but you just get more focus and concentration. We've actually done some tests with, and this is a product you can't buy in America, it's not our product, it's just a cigarette spray. And you should never smoke nicotine, of course, but the spray acts pretty fast. It's much better than the gums. Gums take too long to release. But I really liked nicotine as a cognitive enhancement. And we've done tests, so we've tested like short-term, long-term memory, executive function, and with, you know, like 2 sprays of nicotine, which is like a 2 milligram nicotine thing, we've gotten on average about a 30% increase in executive function, so how quickly your brain can make a decision, and about 100% increase in short and long-term memory that lasts for about an hour, hour and a half. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, people in high-stress jobs were smoking all the time in the 70s. And nicotine is actually an interesting thing. Like, if you're stressed out, nicotine will calm you down. And if you're like depressed, it'll excite you. So it works in the way that you need it at the time. I'm pretty excited about the future of nicotine as a supplement, you know, for health and wellness things without the bad dyes or any of the smoking or anything like that. Because nicotine and caffeine are the 2 great stimulants that nature provides us, and the body has natural receptors for those. The problem with nicotine has been delivered in these 7,000 other chemicals that'll kill you. But when you separate it from that, I think nicotine's a great supplement.
Yeah, they're the original nootropics, aren't they?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And some of the other supplements that I use on a regular basis, I take NAD, NAD+. I do take True Biogen, which is the NR supplement, which is the NAD precursor, which helps your body make more NAD. NAD has been a huge game changer for me because it improves your overall cellular performance. It just makes all your cells work better. So I take when I have a lot of work to do, I'll take a soft melt tablet or do a nicotine spray, and I do an NAD spray, and I do an NAD IV about once every 3 weeks. And so I like NAD as a supplement. And I also take a lot of glutathione, just because, especially traveling.
You need it then, absolutely.
Yeah, to get rid of that oxidative stress. Every time I get off a plane, you know, I'm lucky to have my own IV lounge, but I come in here and get an IV of immune system boost with a glutathione push, and I haven't been sick for 2.5 years. It's really
That's
good.
brilliant. So you're just completely boosting your immunity, optimizing your recovery, and using all the supplements that you might need to increase your cognitive focus.
Yeah, totally.
That is.
For strength training, and I'm going to do a workout actually right after this, I do the ARX machine, which is the high intensity weight training, and the Vasper machine, which is you know, a 2.5-hour workout in 20 minutes. So those 2 machines together are like a 30-minute workout, and it replaces a week's worth of weight training and cardio training. So that's I love that. And then I do the infrared bed probably twice a week. And infrared's really good for collagen production in the skin. We've also studied it and found that it increases hormones, it increases testosterone levels pretty well. The Vasper machine, though, has been the most effective sort of game changer thing on a hormone basis for me. I mean, I'm a 55-year-old guy, and for guys my age, testosterone level is an issue. And I didn't have a low testosterone level, but the manufacturer said, oh, you know, it could double your testosterone in like 2 weeks. And I said, sounds like bullshit, but I want it. So I tested my blood testosterone level. I did 3 Vasper sessions a week for 2 weeks, and my testosterone went from 468 to 1098
Oh gosh.
in 2 weeks. And so, and what it's doing obviously is giving you the metabolic benefits of running a marathon without having to run a marathon. That's like the core idea of a hack, is you're getting the metabolic benefits without doing all the work, and it's proven. And you know, that one for me, and so I work out weight and strength training basically once a week, and that's just to keep my body healthy and strong for the other activities that I like to do. Like this morning I was surfing, and I can surf longer and stronger and faster because I do that basic you know, foundational stuff that if I were not doing it, my workout would just be the, you know, surfing. So I do these kind of hacks to make the rest of my life good, not just to do them.
Yeah, it's amazing how you've optimized your time investment in those hacks so that you can benefit yourself so much more rather than putting in hours and hours of training and then injuring your body and then having to spend time recovering. But there's so much phenomenal information there that Martin prioritizes recovery and sleep and tracks those. He uses a high-fat diet for cognitive focus with some tacos every now and then. A couple of supplements too, such as sleep mode, but ultimately the best way to sleep is dark room and block the lights out entirely. And nicotine as well is another one, and experimenting with exogenous ketones. Ketones are basically when you metabolize fat for energy instead of using glucose during ketosis, and it's a much cleaner burning fuel that the brain prefers. And we'll have more on that in another session.
Excellent.
But just thank you so much for carving out the time today. I really appreciate it. But if you could change one thing that busy business people do in their lives to optimize their focus and energy, what would that one thing be?
I think they should switch their diet to the ketogenic diet.
Thank you. Another one, the high-fat diet. It's the one to focus.
It is.
Thank you so much.